What's going on, guys? Got a short video about if you have a low gross sale per hour, this is what you need to do. Now, the gross sale per hour is a very important metric because it is the true price of an hour in your store. Now, a lot of people get hung up about labor rates and price matrices, but in reality, the end result is just to run a very high gross sale per hour. So if a customer comes in and they do a 3-hour job at your store and they pay $900, the gross sale per hour is $300 for every hour. Now, that is the metric that will determine whether you make money or not, because it's very difficult in this world nowadays to make any money when you run a very low gross sale per hour. A lot of technician-minded owners, unfortunately, only focus on hours, and then there's no dollars. So what we like to focus on in our company is running a gross sale per hour, and the number that I like to see is between 300 and 350 minimum. If more is better. Now, there's 3 ways you can do that. Number 1, you run the canned job part sheet, also called the $1 million sheet by some of you guys. And the whole point of that sheet is to increase how many parts you sell per every hour of job that you do. And what we call that is a full system isolation. There'll be a whole video about that later. It's also covered in the Circle of Sales video. But your job is to make sure that you sell more parts for every hour, legitimately, of course. And you got to make sure that if a car comes in for a water pump, you got to make sure you check that whole system in the cooling system. And you got to make sure that your parts per hour is taken care of so that you're not just selling a water pump, you're also selling all the other things in that system. And that will increase how many parts you sell for every hour, which will therefore increase your gross sales per hour because you'll have more dollars coming in for every hour of work your technician does. The second part is a labor matrix, not a labor bump. This is huge, guys. A labor bump, which we don't run in our company, but our labor bump, all it does is it inflates hours, but it's unjustified in most cases because in our industry, we just have the labor guide be the same thing because we're not running flat rates. So our technicians, although we do love hours, we don't want to actually have the game skewed, and we want to have it all same so that we can actually compare dollars to the store. And the third, which is the most important one of all these 3, is the circle of sales. This, guys, if you've watched the video on Circle of Sales, almost half-hour long video, is the reason why your gross sale per hour is absolutely horrible. If your gross sale per hour is coming down, it's probably because you don't have enough speed. Because when you lose speed, which is half the circle of sales, what happens to you? You can't quote enough, you can't close enough. When you can't quote enough and you can't close enough, what do you think happens to your sales? It goes down. And generally, what also I see is your gross sale per hour goes down. So guys, speed equals sales because speed also increases gross sale per hour. When you're fast, you can quote well, and if you sell the right part, the right price, all these things make your close ratio go up. And if your close ratio goes up, guess what also goes up? Dollars per hour. So this is a huge part, guys. Circle of sales combined with the canned job part sheet, and there's almost a guaranteed fix for your gross sale per hour. Now you throw in some photos, that's another thing. When you're not following the circle of sales, you're also generally not sending photos. You're not doing it fast enough, you're not pitching the right price, you're not pitching the right part. You're not prepping your customer for the next sale. When you don't do any of these things, the gross sale per hour takes an absolute beating. So once again, to recap, guys, if your gross sale per hour is low, which is the most important metric as far as other than car count, this is the price of an hour in your store. You need to go back and make sure you're selling enough parts, that you're isolating systems using the canned job sheet, that you're running a labor matrix, and number 3, that you're following the circle of sales. And if you don't know or you need a refresher on the circle of sales, go watch that video. It's going to absolutely increase your close ratio, your average RO, and your gross sale per hour. I hope this helps. See you guys on the next one.